It's also worth mentioning that we have alternatives to Vue. Vue.js, of course, is the focus of this course, and here we will learn all about Vue. Vue will turn out to be a complete component-based UI framework, and you will learn what component-based means throughout the course, no worries. And it's a framework that includes basically all core features you need to build modern web applications. Now you already see that it has one downside, and that is that it's a bit less popular than React and Angular. Now I'll get back to the downside in a second, but of course the first important question is, what is React and what is Angular? Well, React is one alternative to Vue. It's basically also a JavaScript framework, though officially it's just a library because it has less features than Vue actually. It only focuses on rendering UIs and it misses some features like routing, which Vue offers out of the box. You will learn what routing is in this course, by the way. And therefore React.js is very popular indeed, but it actually also depends quite a bit on community packages, whereas Vue has everything built in. Now Angular is yet another alternative, yet another framework which you could use, and it actually has a bit more features than Vue, so it helps you with even more problems that you could possibly have. It's therefore especially popular in the enterprise world, though big companies are using all three frameworks. There are large companies using React, there are large companies using Angular, and there are large companies using Vue. And like Vue, and also like React is component-based, it actually uses TypeScript. Vue also supports this, but it's optional. In Angular, it's basically mandatory. And for smaller projects, you could say that Angular could be overkill because of all its features. But of course, that always basically comes down to personal preference, I would say. In general, all three are very popular and used a lot. Vue is a bit less popular amongst big companies, but there definitely are large companies using it. And attached to this lecture, you also find a more detailed comparison article which you can dive into, though you will get the most out of this article if you come back to it later once you learn a bit more about Vue. For now, it's enough to keep these alternatives in mind, and then you can explore them once you know more about Vue, because good news also is that if you ever would want to switch to a different alternative, once you learned one of these three, switching will be easier, because whilst they of course do have different code which you write, they do have fairly similar concepts, and therefore switching isn't too hard. Now, these are the Vue alternatives. And now that's enough of the theory, I would say. Why don't we now simply get started by writing some Vue code and getting a first feeling for how Vue works?